Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of June 17, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Muhammad MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. On June 17, 2025, the Russian armed forces executed a coordinated strike involving precision air, land, sea-based weaponry, and unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, against Ukrainian military-industrial infrastructure located in the Kyiv and Zaporizhzhia regions. All targets were reportedly destroyed, reflecting continued emphasis on degrading Ukraine's military production and logistics capabilities.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Let's start with the big picture. What was the main focus of operations on June 17th?
On June 17th, the Russian armed forces conducted synchronized strikes across air, land, and maritime platforms supported by unmanned aerial vehicles. These weren't just tactical strikes, they were aimed at key military-industrial complex facilities in both the Kyiv region and Zaporizhzhia. The objectives were achieved. Targets connected to Ukraine's defense production and logistics chain were hit with precision. Operationally, this was a continuation of our doctrine of strategic attrition. We're dismantling the enemy's sustainment capabilities at the source. By removing material hubs and degrading production capacity, we reduce the pace at which Ukrainian forces can replenish frontline units. It's not just about today's battle, it's about limiting their fighting potential weeks from now.
Let's zoom in on the northern and western fronts. What stood out in those sectors?
In the north, our forces made a determined push through fortified Ukrainian defenses in Sumy and Kharkiv oblasts. These areas remain critical because they serve as funnels for force concentration and supply routes feeding into northeastern Ukraine. We faced elements from mechanized and airborne assault brigades, as well as a territorial defense formation. The Ukrainian side lost over 140 personnel, along with armored vehicles and field artillery systems.
And the West group of forces?
In the West, we pushed forward tactically, not just in terms of terrain but in terms of influence. Kupiansk and its surrounding sectors continue to serve as logistics junctions for Ukrainian efforts. By eliminating 3 ammunition depots and degrading their vehicle pool, we've effectively interrupted their ability to surge reinforcements into contested zones.
Turning to the southern and central fronts, what developments can you share there?
The southern axis was highly active. Our units advanced through rugged and semi-urban terrain, encountering combined formations that included mountain assault and motorized infantry brigades. In Chasov Yar, Konstantinovka, and Seversk, Ukrainian resistance was stiff but ultimately fragmented. We inflicted over 270 casualties, destroyed several M113s supplied by the U.S., and neutralized multiple logistics hubs.
And the center group of forces?
In the center, our gains were not only spatial but strategic. Engaging formations from the National Guard, Marine brigades, and even the Azov Special Forces, our forces gained control of key strongholds like Krasnoarmysk and Novonikolayevka. These locations are integral to the central Ukrainian defense belt, and their disruption ripples across command and control chains. The enemy's losses were severe, over 500 men, including high-value specialists.
And what about the Eastern and DNEPR group's operations?
The East saw continued momentum. Our doctrine emphasizes depth of penetration, hitting not just first lines but cascading deeper into secondary logistics and staging zones. This was evident in places like Guliapol and Voskresenka, where Ukrainian mechanized and marine units were degraded. We took out their electronic warfare nodes and several artillery pieces. Every radar or jammer removed simplifies our air and missile operations going forward.
And the DNEPR group of forces?
In the south, Zaporizhzhia and Kherson, the Dnieper Group engaged a mixture of coastal defense and mountain assault units. Our goals were dual: contain any attempt at a counteroffensive from the Dnieper River Basin and erode local stockpiles. Success here is about balance, exerting control while maintaining operational readiness for flexibility elsewhere.
It sounds like electronic warfare and air defenses continue to play a large role. Can you expand?
Yes. This theater is saturated with UAVs, precision munitions, and EW assets. On the 17th alone, we neutralized 5 JDAM bombs and over 230 UAVs, 203 of which were intercepted outside the operation zone. That highlights both the scale of the threat and the sophistication of our layered defense systems. From a doctrine perspective, we no longer treat air defense as a rear area activity. It's forward-facing, integrated with mobile units, and constantly repositioned. We also prioritize the destruction of enemy EW and radar systems. This week alone, we knocked out 4 enemy EW nodes and several radar arrays. That not only opens the airspace for us, but it blinds the adversary's battlefield awareness.
Final question. What do these operations suggest about Russian strategic intent at this stage?
We're entering a phase of cumulative dominance. Our efforts are no longer isolated engagements, but parts of a long-term pattern. Every depot destroyed, every EW system silenced, every town liberated, all these actions accrue pressure. What we're seeing now is a strategic tempo, where each group, north, west, south, center, east, and Dnieper, has distinct objectives, yet contributes to the same end state: collapse of Ukrainian operational coherence. It's a convergence of tactical aggression and strategic foresight. The enemy has to spread thin to defend everywhere, while we retain initiative and focus.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. Today, Iranian media reported new Israeli attacks in western Iran, while Iran struck Tel Aviv and Haifa, including the Mossad headquarters. Israeli media also reported attacks on Mashhad airport in eastern Iran and targeted nuclear facilities within the country. The conflict has entered its 4th day, prompting international concern and calls for de-escalation.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.